Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Year of the Cowgirl. We're so blessed to live in the state of Wyoming. I wrote this before I knew how the wind was going to be blowing today. But the great people we have are second to none. From our volunteers to supporters to our native Wyoming artists, there is nothing more blessed than in the State of the Union than Wyoming. This statue exemplifies that. We created a CFD foundation a few short years ago to be able to accept gifts that further the education of the American West and its traditions that have been the cornerstone to CFD. The foundation has grown beyond our wildest dreams. From the Marietta Deneen Barn, our park and ride land, the Ladue statue, parade videos, wagon doctor videos, augmented and virtual reality videos, as we have right next to us by the Ladue statue, have been just phenomenal gifts to our foundation. All of this to keep educating future generations as to the Western way of life. All made possible. The first thing that I would like to do is bring up Doug and Susan Samuelson. These two have been the driving force for this whole statue. And beyond that, what they've done for us as far as helping us through some park and ride land situations by donating some land to us, this statue, and most recently, letting us keep a lot of our bucking horses on some of their property north of town during CFD. This will allow these valuable animals a normalized experience when they come to Frontier Days. We all appreciate the great concerts at night, but the horses will appreciate some good shut-eye with their friends even more. Once again, thank you, Doug and Susan, for helping us do the right thing for our animals. Woo! So this is absolutely a year we need to hear from the women. We are fortunate that we will have two women today that are very strong in their commitments and are die-hard Western traditional women. Susan, you were the inspiration for the Year of the Cowgirl. When we did the Chris Ladue statue, during the dedication, Susan came up and she said, you know, and for those of you that know Susan know this is true, she said, cowgirls were a very important part of the West. I said, I get that, Susan. Woo! 2 months later, Mike Thomas called me and said, hey, these two people in Cheyenne think that you're going to let them put a statue up at Frontier Park. And I said, well, who is it? He told me who it was. I said, they can put whatever they want in our park. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Year of the Cowgirl, representative from Warren Livestock, Susan Samuelson.
But I wanted to thank Mike for working with us, and as you will see when this is unveiled, okay, the likeness is of his mother's face, which makes it really, really special. And I know that the gloves have her initials on it, so it will. And she's in Jackson, so this is very representative of Wyoming. But actually, the person who came up with this original idea was not myself, it was my husband. We should have a statue of a cowgirl. Okay. How's that? Okay, better. So, I want to thank Cheyenne Frontier Days for recognizing the Year of the Cowgirl. And it's interesting because women have been a big part of settling the West. I know Dave Barry's grandmother settled north of town. She homesteaded by herself. And I had a great-great-grandmother in Will County that homesteaded in 1880 by herself. And she was also the first I come from good stock, mostly. And, you know, a lot of women in our community and our state have been the ones who started projects. I know that the wheels were started by women, and we wouldn't have our historic carriages, and we wouldn't have the costumes if it weren't for the women. And then I looked to present day's surroundings, and Climb was started. Climb Wyoming was started by women. And Jenny Gordon, our First Lady, who happens to be here today, was the brainchild behind the Wyoming Hungry Initiative. So I feel very blessed that we're here today and we're celebrating women. And we also have women on the Frontier Days Committee. And years ago, that didn't happen. So, you know, I feel very blessed we were able to do this. And once they unveiled the statue, I mean, it's magnificent. But the 3 women's events at Cheyenne Frontier Days, the winners of those will win. Not win. They're going to win. But the winners will also get a miniature of the bronze cowgirls that we will be able to see. Woo!
Thank you, Susan. So next I'd like to bring up Brian and Peach's tarot. Tarot is a name that has been influential in our community for CFD for many, many years. I want to thank this family for always being around to help in our community and with CFD. And now helping us tell the story and preserve the cowgirl permanently at Frontier Park, Peach's Tarot.
Woo! Brian and I are thrilled to join Doug and Susan Samuelson in dedicating this bronze statue to the Cheyenne Frontier Days for the Year of the Cowgirl. We honor the cowgirl for we honor the cowgirls who inspire us through their strength, courage, and grace. As a former CFD dandy and proud cowgirl, it was instilled in me at a young age to give back and be a goodwill ambassador to our community. And the legacy, our family continues that legacy. Our family continues that legacy with our commitment to service and Western heritage that upholds the cowboy code of conduct and values that were encouraged through Cheyenne Frontier Days.
Thank you, Peaches. We've got a couple gifts for the Terrell family and the Samuelson family. So we have a presentation for you guys. One of the Cowgirl buckles, the Cowgirl of the Year, Cheyenne Frontier Days buckles, and one of the Cowgirl of the Year bracelets. So I want to thank Brian for keeping Peaches out of the museum store, because about 2 months ago she kept trying to come and get a buckle and we kept telling her we were out of buckles. So Brian had to work pretty hard to keep her from buying one. So thank you guys very much, and without any further ado, we're going to take a look at the statue, and as we unveil this, I'm going to have D. Michael Thomas is what everybody outside of Wyoming calls him. Everybody in Wyoming calls him Mike Thomas. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm sure that we'll be able to unveil this pretty easily. Michael Thomas.
Thanks, Tom. I'm just glad that she made it down here, because the Cody fire could have been ruined a couple of months ago. But she looked down on us and said, by God, we're going to make it. And we did. Thank you. This is a likeness of my mother, and I thought it was a perfect model, as she was raised back in the 30s She was a cowgirl, not a bronc rider, but she knew the Western ways of life. And there's a few things on this piece that are very special to me. One of them is her boots. They were a pair of boots that were loaned to me by a friend that wore them down here in the 20s and the 30s. He had a store here, and his last name was Wagner. And so I had these to work off of, and I changed the colors of them to give the red of the CFD. So back in the day, those were yellow, but I thought the red really brought it together as far as her scarf and her boots, ribbon in her hair. Then there's a couple of brands on the horse. One of them's the Diamond Tail on the left hip, which belongs to Doug and Susan. And then also the 7XL that's on is a jaw brand on the left. So we wanted to do a little bit for them to say thank you. Thank you for having me be the artist. And whatever they said we did, there was a little discussion once in a while, but not too much. Anyway, thank you guys. Now, on the saddle, I didn't know I was a saddle maker, but on the back of it, you know, most saddle makers have their stamp. And so my stamp was saddle maker D.M. Thomas. So I thought that was kind of fun. On the back of the cantle. Now everybody signed this under the left front hoof too. I put Kilroy was here, of course, and then a couple of people who work for me in the mold making and the casting put their brand on it too. So it's kind of fun to look under the left front hoof. Other than that, Tom, you can ask me questions. People can ask me questions if they need it. But I just love to have you come up, touch it, see it, go from there. Thank you so much.
Mike, thank you. I think we all can agree these are two incredible statues that will have a long-term lasting effect on Cheyenne Frontier Days, the city of Cheyenne, the state of Wyoming, as they're going to be right along the road coming into Wyoming from Colorado. So you've certainly left your mark, and Mike, we're proud of you, and Wyoming's proud of you. So thank you very much. Thank all you guys for coming. Mingle around and take a look at the statue. It's a beautiful piece. Take some photos and share them. Thank you guys.